Well, in the first place, the president does not have the power under any law to control the ICPC.
Or the EFCC,
or the EFCC
in this instance.
Yes, none of them. They are supposed to be the dogs that protect, that fight corruption. And the people that do corruption are members of executive, National Assembly, and all that. So it would be wrong for us to hear that the person you are supposed to chase has powers to direct you how to chase him.
And to do it publicly.
That
affects confidence,
yes,
doesn't it?
But you see, even in law, there's something called discretion. Discretion is not found in any law. It is that power given to a public officer, judges, presidents, and all public officers generally, to do what, in the opinion, given some certain peculiar circumstances, prevalent at that point, that if we are going to do this, it could result in what we could not imagine. So, if in the circumstances of what the president did, it might be pardonable because perception is deeper than truth. How people see things is worse than what actually is. So if people begin to say the president asked EFCC to go and seal the account of Osun State government so that they won't have money to prosecute whether the president did or not, whether he knew about it or not has been denied, will be immaterial. What is important, what we hear in every beer parlor, in every marketplace, is that, you see, we told you, the man doesn't have, so that is why law allows public officers to have a discretion to act the way they feel is necessary.
And I would like you to look at it from the other perspective, because you're looking at it from the point of view of interference or perceived interference in an election. What about the danger of the perception that anti-corruption agencies only act independently until the president intervenes? I mean, would it have been better for the president to quietly consult relevant officials rather than issue a public directive carrying his personal signature?
I agree with you, Charles. You see, if the president, if it like nobody advises Tinubu more than IBB, but you don't hear it on television. He doesn't write letters.
IBB is, of course, Ibrahim Babangida, who was the former military president of Nigeria.
He advises, if he wants to tell the president anything, he knows how to tell him. He knows how to say him. But there are those who are still involved in politics who shout it on the rooftops. The president, in my opinion, ought to have asked the Attorney General
to do it.
Yeah. And not he himself. But you know, politicians, he wants to score a political point that when they did this, the president came out and said so. So, but to me, just like you said, it depicted interference or possibility of interference, or it simply established that the man does it whenever he likes or when it suits his own purposes. So, and that is why you have an Attorney General who supervises EFCC. You would have just told the Attorney General, Mr. Fagbemi, I don't think I like this, especially given the proximity to an election. Tell them to do that. Then silently they will ask one lawyer, go and file a motion. Even if by then somebody tells the judge, give me the next day, they put it the next day and publicize that it has been discharged because it was got too close to an election. We would have had the same effect. But if I would say, maybe they wanted a political point.
Yeah, I think you've made some very good points here on both counts. I mean, you looked at it from the point of view of the perception of the public so close to an election. Yes. And you were absolutely right, because every single person we talked to, the impression was, oh my God, they're interfering.
Exactly.
On the other hand, you made also the very important point about the anti-corruption agencies being seen to be independent. And that's a very important precedent that must always be maintained. So do you think the president has perhaps unintentionally created a precedent where future administrations may feel justified in intervening whenever the actions of investigative agencies become politically inconvenient?
Well, I wouldn't tell you a lie. We know that once in a while the president's top officials do interfere with the anti-corruption agencies. We know that. It is simply that this one blew up in the open.
Right. He made it public.
Yeah, he made it public. Otherwise, they do.
Intentionally made it public.
So that, like I said, to get some political point. Everybody knows, just like Pastor Akonde said, he was very happy when the president said so.
And that's a political point.
Yeah, and that's what the president wanted
with a party
to
that's the opposition to him.
And now praising the president.
Right.
That was just why they did it. Otherwise, the proper thing is, Mr. Fagbemi, are you hearing what I'm hearing? Please, ask them to do this. And Fagbemi calls the chairman and say, why could you? Are you embarrassing everybody? Then the director of legal services will say, please go and they will go and discontinue the case, and that's all. And now discharges the order.
But I know you're not a politician, obviously.
No, I am not.
But you are, I mean, by virtue of the analysis you do, sometimes there is an overlap between the legal assessments you do and the politics of the country. I mean, you're talking about political points that the president may have scored. Can you put that in context as far as this election is in Osun State, and what sort of points he might have scored there?
You see, the Osun State has a special connection with the president, perceived. That's what people think. Some people say he wants to win Osun State by all means. So many things are being said about that. So when this issue arose, the first thing people thought is, the president wants to muscle Accord so that he does not lose that state that is special to him. Very important. So for him to show people, look, it is not true. He did it publicly. Otherwise, more serious things have been done by Bwala.
Daniel Bwala, one of the spokesmen of the president.
They are the people who would ordinarily will. But when the president comes out, you see the weight, the punch in it, because it was the president himself who came out to do it. That is why I said it is because of scoring a point. Otherwise, he had no business. It was just a phone call to Lateef Fagbemi and the thing will be removed. Yes, and then, like I said, I'm not an ostrich. I don't pretend. Presidents do interfere with the activities of anti-corruption agencies. Police, yes, they do. When the police say, when the superintendent of police say, I got orders from above. Where is above? Heaven.
I like that. You're sure it's not heaven?
I don't know, unless you know the telephone number of heaven. Maybe
I'd like to have that telephone number.
So they do. But it depends on, like you hear, the president does not want, the president is after me because of so and so. That's why he has EFCC. That is interference. If that is not possible, then EFCC will wait. There's a petition, they begin to investigate. But when suddenly a politician is in his house and they arrest him, and things begin to happen, so they do interfere.
Right, but for you, wearing your hat as a senior advocate of Nigeria, which is a very hugely respected position to have. I mean, for you, it's got to be evidence, not timing.
Yes.
I mean, that's really what that's what should drive the EFCC and all.
Exactly. Yeah. When you are working, if the EFCC is working, okay, assuming we find that a governor did something very, very wrong, 4 days to his election, will we leave him? You don't leave him now. You begin the investigation. The only thing is, like I said, because of the discretionary powers public officers have, they might investigate and leave the man and be watching him closely. Just like there are some governors who, when they hand over power, they're arrested at the airport. It is because somebody has been monitoring them.
Indeed.
That is what the kind of thing one will expect them to do. Look, we can't touch this man now, but we have to monitor him. We know he did this, but let's monitor him, because if we touch him now, they will say EFCC is working for the president. So that is the kind of discretion you expect. I had expected the chairman of EFCC to.
Yes. So given what you just said, I mean, should there be perhaps a legal convention that anti-corruption agencies avoid major actions immediately before elections, unless perhaps national security or public safety is at stake?
No. You can't make such a law. You can't make such a law. One, how do you define what is a major issue
before an
election? How do you define that? Because anything can be a major issue. That you scratch my car could be that you wanted to kill me, and it's a major issue. And then they say, let us. So the thing is, discretionary powers given by convention to public officers should be used the way it is meant to be, which is for judges judicially and judiciously. for public officers with a high sense of justice and responsibility. Once they're able to do that, you find without.
Like this, wonder shall never end. Yes, so all these Nigeria lawyers. Now I don't want to use some. I use some because few still go for a side. All these Nigeria lawyers, some of these Nigeria lawyers, it is all happen. You understand? Before I come out, I call the quote law will not exist for Nigeria. Okay, when President when Tinubu give that order, you understand, to freeze the should take government account. Why would a lawyer come immediately? You understand? After settle down, now they come and call the we don't talk now all these lawyers and they be the people of this country. And the people of this country, which law they work for Nigeria? Which institution? Institution they work. Now Tinubu is an be the institution. You know, they give order. You understand? Anything we talk and now they do something. No get the right of now, which is very bad. Not the quote, not the deliberate Nigeria, now cage with the cage now with the